What if I told you Jesus' own family thought he was crazy? Not holy, not a teacher, just out of his mind. If he wasn't seen as qualified, what does that say about us? Warning, viewer discretion and discernment advised. I think we breeze right past this part of the Bible because we're reading it with the knowledge that Jesus is the Son of God. And who else could be more qualified, right? But the truth is, it's right there in Scripture. Specifically, Mark 3:21. When his family heard about this, they went to take charge of him, for they said he is out of his mind. So context, Jesus was teaching in Galilee, his hometown. Think small rural town, graduating class of like 100 to 300 people. Everyone knows everyone. His family hears there's a massive crowd following him, and instead of supporting him, they try to stop him. Then in Mark 3:22, the teachers of the law go even further. He is possessed by Beelzebub. Not exactly the welcoming party of respect and reverence that you would expect for the Son of God. But surely not his mother, Mary, right? She knew he was special, maybe. But she may have even been struggling with what was unfolding. In Mark 3:31, they tell Jesus, "Your mother and your brothers are outside looking for you." And Jesus responds with something radical. "Who are my mother and my brothers? Here are my mother and my brothers. Whoever does God's will is my brother and sister and mother." So why did they think he was crazy? Why wasn't Mary expecting this kind of ministry? In that time, religious teachers didn't just start teaching. They apprenticed under a rabbi for years, typically until about 30, before being accepted as a teacher. Jesus didn't do that. He trained as a carpenter. So when he began teaching, people were amazed, but deeply suspicious. John 7:15 captures this tension. How did this man get such learning without having been taught? And honestly, isn't that how we think today? We expect credentials, a degree, a pulpit, a podcast. But Jesus had none of that and still taught with authority. God's spiritual revelation trumps man-made qualifications every single time. 1 Corinthians 1:27 says, "God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise." Sometimes God can do more through someone who feels unqualified or is seen that way than through someone with titles. Acts 4:13 says, "When they saw the courage of Peter and John and realized they were unschooled, ordinary men, they were astonished, and they took note that these men had been with Jesus." These were fishermen, blue-collar, uneducated, yet when they spoke, crowds listened. Why? Because they'd walked with Jesus. Their boldness didn't come from scrolls or schools. It came from encounter. And here's the truth. Time with God equips you. Not popularity, not perfection, presence. Like Jesus said in Luke 4:24, "No prophet is accepted in his hometown." He was mocked, doubted, rejected, and still kept going, even when everybody told him he should stop. If you feel unqualified to speak what God has revealed to you, maybe that's the sign you're exactly who he wants to use. 2 Timothy 3:16-17 reminds us, "All scripture is God-breathed, so that the servant of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work." The only qualifications you need is from God. I'm Erin Patrick, and this has been Bite-Sized Sermons. Oh, and before we go, there was someone Jesus entrusted with a message, the first to carry news that would change eternity. Not a priest, not a scholar, not even someone legally allowed to testify in court. And yet, they were the first to say, "I have seen the Lord." It was